Hi friends, Christine here. Welcome to Vlogtober day 13. It is October 13th, 2021, and today we're doing something a little different. You'll notice that I'm in a different space and that it's quite dark outside. Today my longarmer called to let me know that she had a quilt ready for me and asked if I could meet her, so I dropped everything and I did. We're gonna back up for a second. What is a longarmer? I'll explain. So for those of you who aren't quilters and are joining in on this, when we talk about quilts, we usually talk about the finished product, but what they really are is a combination of a pieced top, a backing, and some batting. And the actual quilting that you see here is usually done on a long arm machine, unless it's hand quilted, which is a whole different story that we'll talk about another day. It's normally done on a long arm machine, and the people who do that quilting are called longarmers. So I pieced this quilt. I then bought the back and I sent it off to my longarmer to be quilted, which is the actual, you can see it on the back here, the actual pattern of the stitching. Oh my God, it's so cute. I am obsessed with how this came out. I mean, I was obsessed with the quilt top, which is the Rebel Quilt by Libs Elliott. That's the name of the pattern and the pattern designer. I had pieced it, like I think I finished piecing it 4 years ago. I know I finished piecing it 4 years ago. And it sat because I wasn't sure how to quilt it together. Like, I knew technically how to quilt it together, but I wasn't sure of the design or the look or the feel. And then when I was talking to my longarmer, she suggested this pantograph, which is the fancy word for an edge-to-edge design. Ooh, sorry. So I believe this pantograph is by Anne Bright and is called Textures, and it is perfect for this quilt. I'm gonna step back and try to hold up the whole thing and get most of it on the screen. So hold on a sec. Another angle. I can't even explain how good it looks in person. And I mean, just talk about a like gorgeous collaboration between fabric piecer, that's me, and quilter, who's my friend. It's just stunning. So, hold on a second. I'm gonna switch around and we're gonna talk some more. Okay. So, back to where we were at. When she called and said it's ready, do you want to meet me? I mean, of course. It's been so long waiting for its turn to shine, and like in hindsight now I know why it took so long, because it needed to be this pantograph, which is the quilting design, with this thread, with this longarmer, just to make it, I mean, I've got awful lighting. Big surprise, that's my thing. But I can't wait to like finish it off. So we've talked about how I pieced it, which is I made the top. I cut up all the fabric and sewed it all back together again in this pattern by Libs Elliott. And then I brought it to the longarmer with the backing fabric. And then she sandwiched it together on her long arm machine, quilted it together with this pantograph, which is the design. And now what? Now I'm gonna trim off all the excess that you see around the edges here. Why is there excess? Because you have to have something for the machine to hold on to while it's stitching edge to edge. I'm gonna trim that off and make sure that it's square, which means that my sides aren't wiggly and that the corners are actually 90 degrees. And then I'm gonna attach binding, which is the fabric that goes around the edges to hide the fact that it's actually a sandwich of material. So most quilts that you see have a little, sorry, I'm making sure that you can see, strip of contrast here. So I'm going to use, it's on the floor, this, which is actually the backing from the quilt I showed you the other week. But it goes so perfectly with the colors in this quilt that I think I'm gonna go for it. And not only that, my friend told me about this little magical. So most times when you put on binding, that means I would cut this into strips and sew them together so that there was one long strip of 2.5 inch fabric, 2.5 inch wide fabric. And then you fold it and you press it and then you sew it onto the front and then you pull it around to the back so that the fold is on the back and you stitch it, which is how I've done the other binding I was doing while we were on the boat. And I do like that form. Like, I find that very relaxing and, you know, I'll gladly sit on the couch underneath a quilt and watch a movie and bind. But at the end of the day, there's something to be said for machine sewn bindings and their ability to withstand multiple washes and kids. But I can't get, I've always got skip spots. I've always got like my bindings not attaching to both sides, or it just never looks clean. It doesn't look like a hand-bound quilt, and it's not supposed to because it's machine-bound, but it just never looks the way I envision it to look. So when I heard about this, thank you, Colleen, and how it changed her relationship with machine sewn on bindings, I had to try it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not gonna show that. I know she's gonna do a tutorial, so when that pops up, I'll link to that in the show notes. But I'm gonna try it and see how it goes. Because that brings me to the next part of this. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm talking so fast. The reason I'm in this room is because I'm hiding from my younger son, because this is gonna be a surprise for him when it's all finished. And it'll go in his bed. Even though now that I see it done, I really kind of want it all for myself. But he is quilt worthy. He is worthy of a quilt, so, and I think he'll appreciate it, and he's gonna love the fabrics and the design and all of that. So yeah, all my plans for the day went out the window. And I actually don't know where the majority of the day went besides this, but this was a big portion of my day. And then once I saw it, I just couldn't get into the groove on anything that was currently on my table. So yeah, we're gonna go and, well, no, I can't cut this down tonight because he's in there, but I'll probably trim it down, or I'll at least work on the binding tomorrow, making the binding to go around the quilts. But yeah, so I'm really good about having my Vlogtober days go sideways, but I'm also super excited to have another finish. So close. I like to bring my projects right up to the finish line and then let them linger there for a little bit, but I feel like this one has been a work in progress for years now, that I just want to wrap it up and take it out to be photographed before the weather turns bad and all of that sort of stuff. So that's that. And I think that's going to be it for my vlog today, because I didn't do anything else. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.